Well, hello everyone. Hi, hello, and welcome to this webinar. We will wait for 1 minute to make sure everyone catches up, and we'll start soon. Okay, so let's start. Welcome everyone to this webinar in which we're going to go through the ways, tips, and tricks and strategies to reduce data security and access management costs. And we're going to share lots of insights in this webinar, so I hope you enjoy it. And an introduction about me. My name is Noosh Baratpour, and I'm the CMO and co-founder of Formalu, a no-code platform that helps businesses build customer engagement apps super easily. And I'm happy to host Farrokh Shahobi as our guest today. Farrokh is a serial entrepreneur with over 10 years of experience with startups. He has served in key leadership and advisory roles in several startups in 10 plus countries and worked with various VCs, accelerator, and organizations internationally. In this webinar, we're exploring the tips and tricks for reducing costs on data security and access management in your company. And let me share my screen so we can get started. Great. So as I told you, I'm the CMO of Formalu, and as the CMO of Formalu, I've been working with hundreds of enterprises who wanted to take action on data compliance, security, and access management in the past years. And I want to share with you the tactics and strategies I've come up with so far. And I want to show you the best ways Formalu can help you take full control over your data in the most convenient way. Formalu is a no-code platform for building customer engagement tools super easily. So go and Google it, find it, check it out, and it's a great way to build powerful and secure tools for your team. And I'm recording this webinar for those who couldn't join at this time and wanted to watch it later. So it's going to be saved on Formalu's YouTube channel. So go and watch it there anytime. And in this webinar, we're going through different aspects of data security and access management and the tips and tricks that help you reduce the costs of these. And we will go through the landscape of data security, the costly mistakes that many people make and many teams and organizations make in data security, strategies for reducing costs, and how you can automate your processes, your access management processes to reduce your costs, and how can technology help you. So, the current landscape of data security, and we will start with the challenges. As technology keeps on marching forward, data compliance is getting more and more complicated. To tackle these challenges effectively, we've got to start by really understanding the lay of the land. So, here are some of the big challenges we're dealing with these days. Data breaches happen all the time and they're a big deal. They expose sensitive information, mess up reputations, and cost a ton of money. Threat actors keep coming up with new tricks like ransom, phishing, and social engineering. And governments and the regulatory bodies are imposing stricter data protection laws, requiring organizations to be more vigilant in their security efforts. And also, with all this cloud stuff, mobile gadgets, and remote work, keeping data safe across all these platforms and devices is no cakewalk, right? So, organizations often face resource limits, making it challenging to allocate adequate funding to security measures. And data protection regulations are getting more demanding. For example, the GDPR rules in Europe, the CCPA in California, and the HIPAA compliancy for healthcare industry in the US. All of these have ushered in a new era of compliance. So, non compliance can lead to hefty fines and additional costs. And also, thanks to COVID 19, we're doing more remote work, which is cool for flexibility, but also brings new security problems. Keeping remote access secure and data protected is a big concern, and we've got to watch out for threats from the inside too, whether on purpose or by accident. Employees can be threat actors or just make mistakes, leading to data leaks. So this needs both tech and education. And also managing those who get managing who gets access to what is getting more so you need to manage who has access to what, right? So employees, contractors, partners, and customers, they all want access, and making sure it follows the security rules is a real headache. But why should we reduce costs? Because we absolutely have to invest in strong data security and access management. But it's also important to do it efficiently and without breaking the bank, right? Here's why. Money doesn't grow on trees. Every dollar we spend on security is a dollar we can't use for other stuff in our business. So we need it. And if we can secure our data without going overboard or spending money, we get a leg up on the competition. So we can put more resources into growing and innovating. And a never ending security budget can hurt our business in the long run. Cost effective security practices make sure we can keep our defenses up over time. And also, these days, boards and stakeholders want to see real value from our security investments. That means we need to be smart about our spending. But what happens when our security isn't efficient and wrecks the budget? Having inefficient security measures can mess up our budget in a big way. Here is what can go wrong. Security problems, data breaches, and cyber attacks cost us money right away through fines, legal fees, and fixing things. A data breach or security incident can hurt our reputation, and that means losing customers, clients, and business partners. That's not good for the long term budget. And when there is downtime from security issues, it can mess up our operations, costing us productivity and money. And ignoring data protection rules can lead us some big fines, which hit our budget directly. And also, if we keep having security problems, our cybersecurity insurance gets more expensive, and that's another hit to the budget. So, in a nutshell, the world of data security and access management is full of new threats, costly data breaches, and strict rules, remote work challenges, inside job risks, and tricky access rules. That's why we need to find smart ways to keep our data safe without emptying our wallets. So, when it comes to keeping our data safe and managing who gets access to it, one of the most important things to do is spot and fix costly mistakes. In this part, we're going to talk about everyday blunders that can mess up our data security, and we will go through the costly data security mistakes. So, the first one is duplicate data. Many businesses have duplicate data everywhere. It's like a digital scavenger hunt, but a terrible one. So you've got the same data in tons of places on your computer, on your cloud drive, on your phone, and maybe that random USB stick you lost that summer. So having duplicate data all over is a headache when you need to update or secure it because, which version do you pick to update? It's like hunting for a needle in a haystack. Also, having data from all over is a headache. It's great that you've got data coming in from different sources, but it can also be a bit of a mess if you're not keeping tabs on where all the data is coming from. If you don't know which is the source of your data, you might not realize who has access to which source. So it's important for you to know your data source and keep it tidy. Rules can be a bore, right? But when it comes to data, they're pretty important. If you're just skimming over data compliance rules and hoping for the best, you're taking a big risk. Nobody wants a surprise visit from the data compliance police or hefty fines. Access control is like keeping your house locked up tight. So you don't want just anyone strolling in and helping themselves to your stuff. Neglecting to control who gets access to what in your data is like leaving the front door wide open. It's a security nightmare. Next, imagine leaving your diary on a parking bench. It's a personal treasure and anyone can read it. Not securing your file is pretty much the same thing. So you need to secure your files. If you've got sensitive data and no security measures in place, it's like asking for trouble. Training. And this is the most important part, training of your employees. It's a bit like handing someone a spaceship and saying, fly this to the moon. So if you don't train your team and if your team doesn't know how to handle data properly, they might accidentally mess things up. Falling for phishing scams, sharing confidential data by mistake, or not spotting a security threat. These are all potential risks if you don't invest in some employee training. Management errors might access management might not sound like the most thrilling topic, but it's essential to keep your data safe and our budgets in check. So let's see how it goes, and let's see some common access management errors that can end up costing a pretty penny. Over permissive access. So imagine your office building has a super secure vault where you keep all your important documents. You'd want to make sure only a few trusted people can get inside, right? Well, in the digital world, uh, sometimes we make these mistakes to be generous with access. We give access to everyone and we let everyone have access to everything. And this means more people can get their hands on sensitive data that they should. And when too many folks have the keys to the vault, it's a recipe for disaster. Next one is the inadequate role-based access control. So today we should take care of this, but sometimes we don't, and we forget to set clear roles and permissions. This means that people might have access to stuff they shouldn't, or they can't do their job properly because they lack the access they need. It's like giving the actor playing Juliet of Romeo's line. Chaos, right? And this kind of chaos can result in costly errors and inefficiencies. So next is failure to monitor and audit access. You should audit your accesses and know who has access to what. And sometimes we forget to do that, and we don't monitor who's accessing what, and we don't check if they should be there. This creates a blind spot, and it's like leaving the front door to your vault wide open. Hackers and unauthorized users can just get in, and it can cause security breaches that can lead to financial losses. Also, inefficient offboarding processes can be a problem. When someone leaves your company, you'd want to make sure they don't leave with the keys to the vault, right? But in the digital world, our offboarding processes can be a mess. We forget to revoke access to some of the tools. We forget to change passwords or delete accounts when someone leaves. This is like allowing a former employee to keep their keys and access the sensitive data anytime. Not only this is a security risk, but it can also lead to increased costs in managing and handling the potential consequences. Now let's see some real world examples of costly mistakes. This year, LastPass, a popular password management service, got hit by a data breach. You know, the kind of service that's supposed to keep all the important passwords super safe. Well, it turned out that even they aren't immune to cyber attacks. The breach exposed user data, and that's a big deal because we store some of our most sensitive information in password managers. Not only did it leave users feeling pretty uneasy, but it also meant LastPass hard they had to tighten up their security and investigate what went wrong. All of this costs time, money, and the damage to their reputation. Also, back in 2014, Sony Pictures was a victim of massive cyber attack. Also, remember when Target, right? Target, the retail giant, got hit by a data breach in 2013. So it's a big issue, and everyone can hit that. So, what are the strategies for reducing your costs for your data security and access management while you're investing on it? So let's talk about the practical strategies. And one smart way to cut costs in data security is to streamline your security policies and practices. Instead of throwing everything at the wall and hoping it sticks, focus on what's essential. Develop clear, straightforward policies that address your specific needs. Overcomplicated rules can lead to confusion and extra work. Keep it simple and effective. Also, risk-based approach is essential to understand. Think of it like investing in insurance. You don't need to cover every possible scenario, just the most likely and high impact ones. A risk based approach helps you identify the most critical threats and vulnerabilities and allocate resources where they matter most. This way, you're not wasting money on unlikely scenarios while ensuring you're protected where it counts. Also, your employees are often the first line of defense in data security. Invest in training programs to educate them about the importance of security and how to spot potential threats. Well informed employees can prevent security incidents. That's very true, and it can save you from costly data breaches and hacks. It's like having your very own security squad. And also incident response plans. So it's like having a fire drill. You need to know what to do if things go south. And having a well prepared incident response plan in place can be a game changer. It helps you respond quickly and effectively to security incidents, minimizing their impact and the associated costs. It's better to be ready and it's better to be ready than sorry, right? So picture it. Um, Okay, the next one is regular security audits. So it's like a health checkup for your data security. Regular security audits help you find vulnerabilities and weaknesses before the bad guys do, right? Before anyone else does. And by identifying and fixing these issues in advance, you can save money on potential breach related expenses and protect your reputation. Last but not least, you can avoid duplicate data and have one source of truth for your data. Duplicate data can be a real budget buster. When you have multiple copies of the same information scattered across your systems, across different tools, across different platforms, it not only increases storage costs, but also and service costs, subscription costs, but also complicates your access management, who has access to what, and who has access to which rows of data even. And by implementing data duplication strategies and maintaining a single clean copy of your data and a single source of truth for your data, you will save on storage expenses, subscription experiences, and reduce the costs of your securities. So, there you have it, a handful of practical strategies to reduce costs in data security and access management. It's all about working smarter, not harder, and making absolutely sure that your security investments are focused on what really matters. And also remember that a well balanced approach to security can save you both money and headaches. And in the long run, you will be so happy about it. So now let's see which automated access management workflows and strategies you can use to reduce security costs as you make sure your data is secure and compliant. This is where I ask Farouk to join me on stage and share his insights in this matter.
Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here again with you all and basically have a very important webinar on this very important matter. So, security is always a scary word of okay, what can I do better? So every time we are talking about that, what can we do better and what can we do to be not reliable and to be compliance and everything on that. And everything that we do, it always seems it's not enough. There is always it's something that the lawyers, the basically the security system, organizations, governments tell us, okay, you should do this and that as well. But truth of the world is actually quite simple and quite easy to do if we follow a very few simple use cases and simple approaches. So if we follow those approaches, everything fall in place. So Same as you might have heard of it in war. Same as war, we are the strongest by our weakest point. So the weakest point of our company is where the security falls off. So if we can follow that, we don't have a basically a very very weak point, we are good to go. So we can go through that and what we can do and actually what systems and what features we can use to basically become compliant, become basically the um, how can I say that? To be rest assured with our data, with our security, with our files. So the first part is that we want to basically have a rigorous monitoring and security system in our workflow. So our employees, our team members, ourselves, we are using different platforms, we are using different services, and we are sending data to each other. So the main thing is, just as Nuj said, is that since we are collaborating on data, we are collaborating on files for our workflows to do our business, we are creating duplicates and we are managing same databases, same files via different eyes. So the problem is solved long time ago is that, okay, if you have a central access management system, the problem is solved because you can have a central system to monitor access of everybody. Remote access is necessary, monitor what they are doing and who has access to what, and you are not duplicating your data all over the place. So that's where platforms like Formalo come to play. So with Formalo central access management, so you are not duplicating data in different systems. For example, you are not duplicating your data in your form builder and then exporting that, importing that to your, for example, email campaign system, importing that to your, for example, Excel sheets, and then all of this duplicate data will get you away from a single source of truth, which should be a single source for your databases. So by using a Formalo as an all-in-one platform, you can place 5 or 6 different tools in your organization, and also you're not duplicating your data anymore. No duplications, no security threats. The second one is that, okay, now I have all of my databases in Formalu, all of my files in Formalu. How can I manage my teams? How can I manage my workflows? Because not everyone in our teams should have access to all of the data or a certain amount of data or certain specific databases. So in Formalu, what you can do is that you can create teams with different access. We can create different teams, clients spaces, projects, departments with different access management. And even that each team has their own team members, they can have different access levels. One is owner, have access to everything in that team. For example, in HR department, only HR managers can see everything, but they cannot see anything else in the organization. But there are other executives that have different access on what they should have access. And as they say, is that everyone in the company should be on the what want to know basis. No, they should not have access to anything they are not supposed to, or anything that they are not useful for them. Because why you should share any kind of databases with inside your company that are not for that person. So after dividing your organization to different departments, teams, clients, projects, and give them the access level, now you can monitor that. Monitor what they are doing, what access they have. And this great thing is that if someone leaves the company, if you are not working with a client anymore, and any kind of offboarding process, if a project is finished, in your team management system, you can revoke their access from everything. So they don't have any access anymore, and your databases and files are safe. Another one is that If you are giving your employees ownership access so they can export data or connect data, for example, to different Slack systems, MailChimps, Salesforce, every kind of thing, basically you are giving them a duplication of your data. The employees in many compliance systems, including GDPR, including HIPAA, including PCI, they should not have employees, they should not have access to export data or to connect data. Only the system administrator should have access to that, not everyone else. Many people, businesses make this mistake. They say, okay, this thing needs to work with, for example, with our customer base. So I should give them full access. That is wrong because they can duplicate it, they can connect it to their own Google Sheet, and basically export data from your business into their own systems, which you don't want to do. And no amount of NDAs or anything like that will help when your data is lost. No one likes a legal battle, so why give it an option? So with access management level, you can identify what they can do with your data. For example, they can see it, they can edit it, but they cannot export it, they cannot download it, they cannot use it outside the system. So with monitoring and revoking access, you have a good, basically, admin control on how you can manage your business, how you can manage your teams, and basically how to prevent any kind of fraud or leaks inside your system. So let's go to the second one. You can add more security systems in place, and you can add more basically security layers to your workspace. A very popular one is SSO. SSO stands for single sign-on. It's a security measure, so you can not only monitor access of your employees, but monitor them via two different services. One is formal, and the other one can be your SSO provider. Many businesses around the world use Microsoft. Microsoft Azure provides a great SSO option that can basically help you organize and secure your systems. With using services like Microsoft Azure SSO in compared to Microsoft Intuit, basically you can manage all of the security system in place. What is Microsoft Intuit? Basically, this piece of software will be installed in all of your employees' computers, laptops, and monitor the activity of access to their data on their computer, which is your company's computer. And with that, for example, on their phones, on their laptops, they cannot download their data inside outside of your organizations, and you will be alerted if someone is doing something wrong. So for fintech companies, insurance companies, for healthcare organizations, I highly suggest that you use SSO in addition to access management in Formalu. So with two layers of security, you're good to go inside Formalu, and you're good to go outside Formalu when you are connecting your service, for example, to Zapier or to your MailChimp. You can manage everything in one place. Good thing is Formalu supports SSO, and we are providing SSO, so you can have it inside Formalu as well. So with this SSO and access management, you automatically get your user provisioning, deprovisioning, revoking access, monitoring access in the same place. And the good thing is that it's not file-based or database-based. You can have all of these in an organization level for each team and for each department specifically. So, for example, each department of you can have a specific access and a specific monitoring. So they can monitor their own team and not the whole organization. And then not a poor IT team should they manage organization of like 1,000 employees. Each department can manage, monitor, and provision their own team very, very easy. Now we go a level higher. Right now, all we talked about are on the cloud-based services, which is ultimately all the tools that we use every day, from our emails to our files on Google Drive to the service that we are using are cloud-based. And as a result, they are storing their data on the cloud. But some businesses cannot use cloud-based services for sensitive data. What kind of businesses? Any fintech company, according to the PCI, any banking institutes, any insurance institutes, healthcare organizations, according to HIPAA, and basically some universities, not all universities, some universities. All of these have one thing in common. They have personal information. For example, medical records, insurance records, I don't know, some, for example, uh, personal information of age students, transactional records. And this type of data should not be stored in any shared cloud system. So if you are using a shared cloud system, which means every system in the world, Mailchimp, Slack, Google Drive, they are not compliant. And it's a less level of security because now a third party has access to it as well. For example, the employees of Google can have access to it as well. This doesn't contract the end-to-end encryption. These are both active at the same time. So even with end-to-end encryption, you are still are using a cloud service for this information, which for many businesses is not compliant. So if you are looking for a high grade of HIPAA compliance, or if a high grade of for transactional information for fintech companies, as I mentioned, insurance company, you should look for the on-premise solution. What are the on-premise solutions? On-premise solution gives you the ability to host and store all of your databases, all of your files inside your own servers. And now no third party have access to that at all. And you can manage your data systems in one place. Great thing is formal support on-premise. This is one of the most popular products, which is called formal on-premise. That you can get all of the benefit of formal, the SSO, the role-based access management system, user provisioning, admin control, all of that. And you cannot use formal cloud, you can use your own server. We have banks that use formal on-premise, not even on internet, on their own local intranet, because they have local data that they should not be outside of the brand. We have healthcare organizations that they use it inside their hospitals, inside their services. So with formal on-premise, you get all the benefit of formal, but inside your own servers. This is the highest level of security that you can imagine. And this is one of the basically services that we provide for businesses with highly sensitive data, and that they have basically no other option to have a secure system as an all-in-one platform to create all of your forms, create all of your workflows, create all of your internal tools, and host your data inside your own servers without access to anyone, not even formal. But even with the on-premise solution, we talked about security systems that are created for monitoring and access management. But that doesn't solve human error. So we should rigorously review our accesses, review our procedures to see what we are doing wrong. About 95% of all security breaches are made not by a weak security system, but by human error. When these reviews are not done, when the reviews are not complete, and an employee that's left the company, for example, for 3 months, has access to full ownership of something. So monitoring access, reviewing the access is very important, even if you are using an on-premise solution. Next slide, please. So we talked about how technology can help. Basically, you can make sure that your human error can be minimized in effect. For example, when you're using formal access management, if you don't give full access to someone, they cannot duplicate the data. So that's good. So even if there is a human error, someone accesses the system, they don't have full access to the system. And that helps us a lot. Or with the on-premise solutions, you get the level of security of data with encryption that is very powerful ally when it comes to security. For example, you can have encryption at the level of database. You can have and local encryption inside your own servers that not even your employees can crack it without authorizations. You can have multi-key authorizations, and all of these that help us to move to the next level. There are also a lot of great open source solutions that can help you with securing your servers and securing your basically transaction of data. And with installation of these libraries and packages, you can make sure your service is secure. The best services that I have seen, they don't overcomplicate the thing. They use two or three very great security systems inside their servers, and they are not overriding each other's access. So three services that work well together, for example, like Firewall, a service like Formalu, packages on the servers to basically make sure the security of on-premise solution is well achieved. That works best. You don't need anything else. So we talked about cloud-based security, and you can use cybersecurity startups and cybersecurity companies to monitor your system. We work with a lot of audit companies and security as a service companies to audit our service and audit the service of our clients every month, every quarter. So if you outsource some part of your review to one of these cybersecurity companies to audit your basically accesses, there is an extra eye and professional extra eye that can tell you what is wrong with the system, which one of the accesses is wrong, what in what aspects you are neglecting, so we can minimize the human error as much as possible. As a standard rule of thumb, a quarterly audit is one of the best ones because it's not very expensive and it's a good amount of time to audit the system and make sure everything is running upright. Next slide. So basically, when in your system, now you have all of the systems and databases. I talked about how you can classify your data and who should access to that data. So again, no one should access to any data that they're not working on. It doesn't matter that that database is one part of the company. They should only have access to data that they are working on, and after that it's revoked. Because you don't know, projects change, departments' agendas change, and those databases can be used for different purposes. And they can contain new information that you don't know that employee is supposed to see or not. So always only have active databases on your access management system, and everything else should be stored without access to anyone except you and the trusted employees. We talked about database encryption and encryption of data. So we have a standard procedures, for example, in GDPR and in HIPAA, end-to-end encryption, encryption on the cloud services. All of that are good. But you can go extra level for data that needs extra level of encryption. And I'm not talking about normal, for example, customer data. I'm talking about, for example, insurance records, medical records, and transactional records. These require database encryption as well. So no one, even the employees of that company, for example, a Stripe, can see the transactional record and can basically amend that or change that or remove that. So for that part and for the basically another one, I want to mention this. For these parts, I always suggest that you use a cybersecurity firm as well to help you with and guide you through the process. They are relatively not expensive. They can audit the system. They can help you with encryption of databases, and they can help you with classification as well. And when you use a service like Formal, you can have it on the technology side. So even if you don't have an IT team that can do it in-house, you can use the cybersecurity team and Formal and do it all. If you have an IT team in house, you can just use Formalu to do the database encryption, classification, data loss prevention as well. I will talk about it very soon. All in the same place, they can do it very easily. So for data loss preventions, one of the great things is instant backup. The instant backup, which Formal provides as well, is a very good way to basically get back data that mistakenly was deleted. So we have saved a lot of companies with our backup. The system that very valuable data was lost. Sometimes millions of data points were lost because and they made an error. They deleted those databases and they want it back. So having an instant backup in your system for all of your databases and files is great. Formal instant backup can help, and also if you are using the on-premise solution, I would suggest not only use Formal instant backup, but use a backup server as well. You can create an automatic backup server as well that get a snapshot and a backup differently on your servers every hour or every day, so you don't lose any data. Next slide. Awesome.
So that's all. That's a
So
wrap.
that's it from my side. I hope it was useful. And I know that these security systems can be complicated, but actually they can be super easy and super straightforward when you use a compliance system. So when, for example, you use Formalu, you don't need to think about it of, okay, how should I manage the access management? How should I design that? How should I design database encryption, or how should I design the instant backup, or how should I design provisioning or SSO or anything like that. So with one platform, you can get all of these very important security measures and make help you to make to be not only GDPR compliance, which is like bare minimum, to be HIPAA compliance and compliance of, for example, SOC 2 or any other systems that requires this level of compliance with external audits. You don't need to do it yourself, and you don't need to do it with 10 different platforms. With both platforms, you can manage all of your data with the central access management, with all of the security measures that we talked about, and your team can only focus on auditing the system, reviewing the accesses, and make sure everything is up to go. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. So this webinar was, and thank you, Farouk, actually. So this webinar was packed with strategies, tactics, and ways for data security, access management, and how you can secure your data while also reducing the costs of access management and data security. And I'd like to invite all of you to join our upcoming webinars. Uh, we talked about on-premise and secure cloud. So if you're interested to see which is more suitable for your business, feel free to join our upcoming webinar, which is targeting exactly the on-premise vs cloud data-driven solutions. And we're also talking about HIPAA compliancy in the next webinar. So feel free to join that too. And you can find them all in our LinkedIn page and click join. And I want to thank you all for joining this webinar. And thank you, Farah, for sharing your insights. And if you want to get full control over your data and have a single secure source of truth in your organization, don't miss this opportunity to use Formalu services. Formalu supports you on many stages of your data security and compliance, and it's a great way to build data-driven business applications in your teams. And lastly, happy Formaluing. Bye.
Have a great day, everyone.